I would like to let you guys know that this is an auditory experience. Grab whatever beverages you might have, get a snack, and cozy up by the fire. Enjoy.
In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the Harlem Globetrotters. This prestigious basketball team was founded in 1926 by Abe Saperstein. They played their first game on January 7th the next year. 13 years later, in 1940, the Globetrotters won their first World Basketball Championship, and in 1948 through 1949, they stunned the world by winning a second World Basketball Championship. The victories against the Lakers allowed the Globetrotters to be integrated into the NBA. Many African Americans were even able to be drafted into the NBA. During their tours, the Harlem Globetrotters were able to earn the accolades of many world leaders like President Eisenhower and Ford. In 2002, the Globetrotters were able to be inducted into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. As of now, there have been over 13 Globetrotters to have been inducted. Throughout the 96 years since their founding, the Globetrotters left a lasting impact on the NBA and society as a whole. They popularized many moves like the slam dunk, fast break, forward and point guard positions, and the figure eight weave. Many people like Goose Tatum, Marquis Haynes, and Meadowlark Lemon became Hall of Famers. In the 1940s, the NBA would book the Globetrotters in the second game of the doubleheader to attract more fans. In 1947 through 1948, they would end up defeating the Minneapolis Lakers, accelerating their integration. Following this, many African Americans were drafted into the NBA. On June 25th, 2019, the Globetrotters joined with On Our Sleeves to bring the message of positive mental health to their fans and support advocacy for mental health education and fundraising of mental health research. Now, with the history aside, let's get on to the top 10 players. Number 10. Robert Showboat Hall was a man of many mysteries. His career among the Harlem Globetrotters is largely unrecorded, but his namesake would imply that he was a star. Apparently, he succeeded Reese Goose Tatum in his role of the primary showman. His role was to do 6 shots and nice dunks, quoting myself. In all seriousness, though, his job was very important. He had to be the face of the Globetrotters and carry on the legacy of those before him. One thing that is known is that he was the Globetrotter that is accredited with creating the under-the-leg pass. Number 9. Willie Gardner was born in 1933 and was one of the third-generation Globetrotters. He played defense very well, but was also good at dunking. Contrary to what his nickname would suggest, he stands at a towering 6 foot 7 inches. His time as a trotter was fairly short. He didn't play in the NBA until later in his career. Unfortunately, Willie developed a heart condition that would prevent him from continuing to play basketball, marking the end of his career. He died at the relatively young age of 66 years old. Number 8. Sweet Lou Dunbar was one of the Globetrotters from the silver era of basketball, which spanned from the 70s to the 90s. He worked with several other teams and tended to drift from court to court. He even played in Europe, being the only Globetrotter at the time to have played on non-American teams. He was surprisingly short for a basketball player, standing at only 5 foot 10 inches, but was known for his accuracy, having a 32-point per game average. After his basketball career ended, he became a coach who would go on to train future Globetrotters. He is one of the few Globetrotters on this list still alive to this very day. In fact, it is unknown as to whether or not the Globetrotters have a natural lifespan. Number 7. Fred Neal was born in Greensboro, North Carolina, attended James B. Dudley High School and Johnson C. Smith University. While there, he averaged 23.1 points a game and was named a CIAA guard. He played point guard with number 22. He played for the Globetrotters for 22 seasons and played in over 6,000 games in 97 countries. When he retired his number on February 15, 2008, a ceremony at Madison Square Garden was held, and he was just the 5th Globetrotter at the time to retire their number, and in January of the same year, he was inducted into the North Carolina Sports Hall of Fame. Number 6. David Smokey Gaines had attended Lemoyne-Owen College from 1959 to 1963, where he was the first player to have his number retired. Following this, he played for the Harlem Globetrotters professionally for 4 years until he moved on to play 3 games for the Kentucky Colonels during the 1967 to 1968 American Basketball Association season. After all of this, he became a college basketball coach for the Detroit Mercy and San Diego State Aztecs, making himself the first black head coach in NCAA Division I history, and got named Coach of the Year when the Aztecs qualified for the NCAA tournament. Gaines was then named athletic director for the Memphis City Schools in 2008, after coaching and serving as the athletic director at Lemoyne-Owen. Number 5. Ollie Bryant was a part of Crispus Attucks High School in Indianapolis, Indiana. In 1951, he would carry his team to the final hour. He had many offers from UCLA, Michigan State, Michigan, and Purdue. Although Bryant was not drafted into the NBA, he worked with the St. Louis Hawks. Sadly, he couldn't join and was rejected from the team, but his rejection from the team was a blessing because he was able to join the Harlem Globetrotters. He had the chance to travel to 88 countries and play 13 seasons for the Globetrotters. Later, he worked as public relations staff for the Harlem Globetrotters for 14 seasons. Bryant was also a motivated speaker, author, and charity fundraiser. Number 4. Hubert Geese Osby was born in Crescent, Oklahoma. He attended Douglas High School, where he played basketball. He was an outstanding basketball player, receiving over 200 athletic scholarships from major colleges. After high school, he chose to accept the scholarship at Philander Smith College. Following his graduation, he declined many professional basketball contracts and decided to try out for the Harlem Globetrotters. Osby was popular within the Globetrotters and took center stage with 2 other members and became the lead entertainer of the team. Throughout 1990 to 1995, he received awards for Arkansas Sports Hall of Fame and the Arkansas Black Hall of Fame. He received the Globetrotters Legends Ring for outstanding contributions. Number 3. Jimmy Blacklock is the current Globetrotter head coach. During his prime, he played over 2,500 games and visited 62 countries. During his career, Blacklock was a point guard and a dribbler for the Globetrotters from 1974 to 1987. Blacklock joined the team after he was one of the first African-American players to play at the University of Texas. He was honored as the Longhorns MVP his junior year and the team captain in his senior year. He was inducted into the Men's Hall of Honor in 2016 and was presented the Globetrotters Legend Ring on February 28, 2020 in Austin, Texas. Number 2. Wilt Chamberlain was an American professional basketball player who played for the Harlem Globetrotters before playing in the NBA. He held many seasonal records in scoring, rebounding, durability, field goal percentage, and assists. Wilt Chamberlain decided to play for the Harlem Globetrotters because the NBA didn't accept players until their college graduating class was completed. He would play for the Harlem Globetrotters for $50,000. On March 9, 2000, he retired from the Globetrotters and would join them in their off-season. When the Globetrotters were in season, he loved to entertain the crowd. Number 1. Marquis Haynes was born in 1926 and started his basketball career in 1942, playing for Langston University. He was known for being one of the best players at the time and had a win-loss record of 112-3. In 1946, he was invited to play in an exhibition game against the Harlem Globetrotters, wherein he performed so well that he was invited onto their team, starting his career as a Harlem Globetrotter. He could reportedly dribble the ball 348 times each minute and was called one of the best ball handlers of all time. In fact, Wilt Chamberlain said that what he could do is something that I could never do, and I could do almost anything on the basketball court. Even though decades, nay, millennia, have passed since the first sighting of a Harlem Globetrotter, they continue to roam the earth, going from basketball game to basketball game for all of eternity. The golden age of these titans may be long gone, but their memories live on with us. Their dunks had such an impact that even through time and space, the screeching of sneakers on polished wood and thumping of the dribbling ball can be heard. If you ever encounter one of these cryptids, accept your fate. You're about to get dunked on.